Something in your eyes captured my soul. Girl, what's the tea, girl?
What song is that? I feel like, I know. I can't think of. Is it Black Male Saint? I can't remember.
Girl.
I just know
that's
song.
Mariah Carey, 1991.
Oh my god,
yes.
that's what's the name of it?
Can't Let Go, girl. That's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, bitch.
I always forget you are a lamb.
I am a lamb, girl. Mm-hmm. I'm a Mimi girl. Yeah.
Have you ever seen her?
Oh my god, yeah. I saw her in Madison Square Garden in 2006. I saw her in Detroit in 2005. At a football game, at a Lions game. I bought tickets to the Lions game just to go see her at Thanksgiving, girl. I don't give a goddamn about no football, girl. So I just want to go see Mimi when she came to town to sing on the Thanksgiving Day game in Detroit. So yeah.
Okay, excuse me. No, I've only seen her once, and that was at I saw her Christmas show last year, and it was wonderful. I gotta say. So if you've never seen her, because I've been worried, because she be that voice. Yeah. But she did it for that Christmas show, and she was doing live vocals. I wish I would go do it again and get better seats, because I was up in the rafters, because I got those nosebleed seats. But still, loved it. She looked good, sounded good. She still got it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you would go again, and I say, girl, all we have is Mimi, girl, because we lost Michael, we lost Whitney, we lost Prince. All we got is Mimi. All we got is.
So I'll just say, and I get it. I know who she is, but I, at that time, also really loved Toni Braxton.
Oh.
Break My Heart.
Yes.
The anthem. Yes. Never forget. What was it? 7 days, something?
Oh, yeah. So you going...
think about you. I love...
You going back and forth between 92 and 96 teas, girl.
But I know she was not... And again, Babyface stole that money from her. Wow, we have just gone down it. Welcome to Tuesday, Queens. We are not just going to.
That was L.A. Reid. That was L.A. Reid who stole her money. Allegedly.
I thought didn't she do some bad deals with the producer too?
But I think L.A. Reid is the thief. Allegedly, I think Babyface is just. I think he's like part of it, but not. I don't know, girl.
But it's L.A.
But it's really L.A. Reid.
Anyway, I am feeling so good because we got a couple gifts this week. Beyonce hinted that she's giving us a little visual, so I'm ready for that. I'm ready for my next moment. And I saw the Jennifer Hudson, the trailer for the new biopic that she's doing, playing Aretha. So glad it's her and not Cynthia Erivo. No shade. Cynthia has a beautiful voice.
She does.
I didn't see Harriet. I'm good. But there's something about... I want to see some Black Americans playing Black Americans figure. And Cynthia's done some shady things. Sometimes the international Blacks don't always understand what American Blacks go through in our language and what is or isn't ghetto. But for another time. How are you doing, Miss Deveraux?
Yeah, good. Girl, I'm really excited about Black is King too. I saw the visuals for that from the trailer. I feel like. I'm definitely excited about that. I am a little worried still that they're gonna make Beyonce Storm in Black Panther 2, and we know that bitch can't. That girl cannot act. We know Beyonce has a lot of talents, but acting is not her ministry, and we all know that. Let's keep it real, girl. Go ahead.
I honestly don't think that's gonna happen.
I hope not.
I think I see it, but I'm like, because one is like. If they're really trying, thinking about, entertain, the business-wise, if they're really trying to introduce Storm in Black Panther, they're going to introduce her for her own movie. I would hope. Come on, bitch. I'm not going to introduce Storm and not give her own movie. And I just don't see Beyonce locking into some Marvel deal. Actually, also, Marvel doesn't like to pay their actors. They're notoriously well-known for not paying people. And locking them into 6 and 7 film deals, and them only being able to renegotiate it after they're done.
Oh, so Marvel's on some old school MGM tees.
Oh yeah, girl. They go after. The only thing about Robert Downey Jr. was on the slump of his career. He had that DUI or something.
He had way more than DUI, girl. She was a heroin girl. Miss Robert Downey Jr. was a heroin girl.
Ooh, was she?
Yeah, she was.
Oh. So she's definitely going through it. So, and Mr. Kevin Feige and what's his face? The director, I just blanked. His name who also directed The Lion King. His name just left me. But anyway, they kind of brought him back. But so I don't get to worry about that. But do you wonder why isn't Black is Queen. I mean, I guess it's like, well, Black is King just works better, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm probably being that extra.
Oh, girl, but you know how hotep a lot of black people are, and calling it
like it's that part. Like it's
yeah.
that part that a part of me is like, and Beyonce already had. We know you stayed with that man after he cheated with you, girl. So
you going there? Oh,
I'm just saying though. I just feel like, is there another word? But, the Hoteps are going to go out there and really purchase this album. Yeah. It's on Disney Plus for all y'all. I'm
going to do a 1-month subscription to Miss Disney Plus just to watch Black is King. And then, Okay. Oh, and I want to watch Hamilton too. So, yeah, I'm going to just get that 1-month subscription.
Oh, yeah, that is a reason.
Exactly.
Well, I have Verizon. I don't know what I've been waiting. Well, I think I was waiting for more things to watch with it. Other than like The Simpsons and Disney movies. But I think I do want to watch Hamilton, and I do want to check this out too. So, because I think you can get at least a year maybe for free with Verizon.
Is that still, because I have Verizon too. Is that still a thing?
I think I just saw a commercial for it. So I think it's at least worth looking into. So,
girl.
Everybody's trying to keep people these days.
But the Aretha pick, girl, I'm excited about that. Because Aretha handpicked Jennifer Hudson for that role before she died.
Did she?
She did. She said that was the girl she wanted. Well, a long time ago, she said she wanted Halle Berry to play her, but Halle Berry can't sing like that, girl. And that's not an appropriate pick, girl. But Jennifer Hudson was the one. And I'm glad. I mean, but Mary J. Blige is in it too, girl. And I love Mary J. Blige.
Yes. Ooh, she looked good.
Yeah, so I think those girls are going to do Detroit justice. Because, Aretha was not just the queen of soul. She was the queen of Detroit too. Like, at her funeral in 2018, girls, they had like hundreds of pink Cadillacs riding down 7 Mile in Detroit, to honor her. So
did you see any of that?
I didn't see it. What I did do is I tried to go see her in person lying in state. We treated her like royalty, girl. We had her lying in state at the African American Museum. So, but that line was so long that I had to go to an appointment or something. But that's one thing I tried to do. The funeral was long, girl. I couldn't. They had some public tickets to that, but I couldn't do the funeral. So I just honored her from afar. She was the queen of Detroit.
I mean, you still honored her. I think when she had passed, you had asked me if there was anyone that Philly would do that sort of thing for. And I was kind of really racking my brain. I was like,
Patti LaBelle, girl. Honestly, what about Patti LaBelle?
I right. Patti was the one you would jump to, Miss Patti, but I don't think they would do all that for. I think some people would do Patti well, but I feel like in the way like a whole city loved. I think Black Philadelphia loved Patti. I mean, people love Patti. I almost think like a Will Smith. Like now that I have had time to think about it, I think Will Smith would get like that treatment. Like, you are the son of Philadelphia. Like, I feel like he would get that.
I think Philly during my short time there, I think Philly is going to do Patti justice. I think they will. I think we're underestimating Miss Philadelphia. Like, okay, I think they're going to give her respects. Like, and hopefully that's a long time away when she passes away. Because girl, I saw her in concert I think it was either last year or the year before, and she still has it. She sang live, those vocals. She's deep in her 70s. She gave she took the shoe off and everything, girl.
If that teeny little bitty birdie can fly, why?
So, wow. I think Philly, I pray Philly does Miss Patti justice, because she really, that girl, she deserves it. I love her. I actually, to be honest, let me tell you the truth, because I'm a Detroit girl and this is sacrilegious. I'm more of a Patti girl than I am an Aretha girl musically. But I don't tell a lot of girls that. But yeah, I'm more of a Patti LaBelle girl. Like, that's musically. So interesting. I just like, Aretha was my queen as a Detroiter, but Patti is really like, that's my girl, like, for the old school girls. She really is.
I respect Patti, but I don't think I've listened to nearly as many Patti songs or much of her catalog as I've listened to Aretha. Like, there's a couple Patti songs that I love, The House Down, but I think Aretha is like I could listen to a whole album of Aretha songs.
And see, I'm just the opposite. Like, Patti.
But also, girl, give me a nice soulful, a nice little slow ballad, Yeah, I love that. Sam Cooke, Aretha, what's his face? I'm blanking on people now.
Anyway. Marvin Gaye, maybe? I like Marvin Gaye too, yeah.
I was even going to like Otis Redding. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Some of the Al. What's
Al Green?
Al Green.
Oh my,
problematic, but
my family, they love Al Green.
Who's not problematic?
Yeah, who isn't? But actually, guess who opened for Patti LaBelle when I went to go see her? We were just talking about this girl, Babyface girl. That was a good ass concert because Babyface sang some of his catalog, and he sang a bunch of songs that he wrote for other people. So like, that bullshit Instagram live that y'all were watching, like I got to see him do that.
Oh girl, I didn't watch that.
Oh, me neither. I got to see him do his catalog, his writing catalog in person. Like he does that in concert. If you go see him in concert, he'll sing other artists' songs that he wrote, and it's amazing. Babyface was amazing in concert too. He really was. But girl, I wanted to bring you in on something, girl. Is it another pyramid
It
kind of
scheme?
is, girl. It kind of is. So I have this money making idea, girl. I was talking to a lawyer girl friend of mine, and she's
Is this fish or a queen?
A queen.
Okay.
And this lawyer queen, and yeah. So anyway, I have an idea for a class action lawsuit, girl. You want to join in? You want to join in my class action lawsuit?
It depends on what it is for.
Girl, so
what's it for?
Well, I want to sue trade, girl. I want to sue trade collectively, right? I want to sue trade for dick distress, girl. For stressing us out with that dick, girl. For stressing us out with that dick. Girl, when they go back to fish, girl, when they dick us down real good and then go back to their girlfriends and their wives. I want to sue trade for that. So I think we can get a class action lawsuit together of a bunch of queens, a bunch of butch queens, a bunch of, some trans girls, get everyone in on it. And sue trade.
Intersectional.
Let's sue trade collectively. Let's bankrupt the trade, girl, and get our gay reparations, our black gay reparations, and our black queer reparations, girl.
Wow, this is not what I was expecting. Like I gotta be honest with you, girl. I haven't been getting that type of trade in a while. I just don't have the energy to be chasing heteros like I used to. These knees just, they're just a little weary now. But
you can go back and sue old trade, girl, from 2008 trade, 2009 trade.
We're talking about trade I got in college.
Yeah, old trade, new trade, sue all the trade.
That security guard outside that bar. Okay, I didn't know we'd go that far back. Then in that case, I could be down.
Let's see what the statute of limitations is on that, girl, and let's do it. Let's sue the trade. So y'all girls, email us if you all want to sue the trade. Say, what's our email, girl? Tell me what the email is.
Ask them, ASKTHEM at twosavequeens.com.
Yeah, my lawyer friend is gonna get it together for us though. But no, I have some more serious news though. No, I do. Just some personal tea. So in Miss Detroit.
Okay.
Oh, girl. This made me so mad, girl. Okay, our city council president is Fish, old lady, like middle-aged old lady Fish.
Old lady Fish.
Her name is Miss Brenda Jones. She is so late, girl.
Ooh, that's an old lady.
Old black fish, right? Miss Brenda Jones.
Miss Brenda. Anytime you meet a Miss Brenda, you know she's black.
Girl, she is so late, though. That girl is so late.
Oh, no.
So let me tell you what she did, okay? So first off, she's our city council president, but she's like beholden to our white mayor. She's all up under his, all up under him, like doing any, but that's okay. That's one thing, right? Because he's kind of a problematic figure, and she's like his right hand almost. But anyway.
Interesting.
She's running against Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib of the 13th District. Rashida Tlaib is a member of the squad, right?
Yeah.
With AOC, Ilhan Omar, and what's the Massachusetts girl's name?
Oh, shit. It starts with an A, doesn't it?
We know her. That's Blackfish. We know her.
I know.
Okay.
Oh, hey, keep telling the story while.
Okay, look up Massachusetts Blackfish. Okay, so, God, I can't believe we forgot her name. Ayana what? What's her last name? Ayanna Presley, yeah. So the squad is those four girls and Rashida Tlaib from Detroit. So she's running against her, which is some bullshit because I think we need to stand for Rashida so that she gets reelected is a fuck you to Trump, right? Like that's one thing. We don't want a member of the squad being taken down in the Democratic primary because that looks bad. Like Trump will eat that up if Rashida Tlaib is defeated. And so what happened was Rashida Tlaib honestly won because the black vote was kind of segmented in the primary in 2018 because there were a lot of black people running for that Democratic primary against Rashida, and she was able to coalesce some black people, but a lot of other groups like Hispanics and Muslims and Arabs and she won that. But I feel like we need to keep her in there at least 2 more years, just to as a fuck you to Trump, just so that all the squad can get reelected, and like especially when we vote against Trump in November. So that's the first thing. So fuck her for that. But the second thing.
Well, wait. Does she have a chance?
Yeah, because I think like she's the only. She made it. She coalesced a lot of like the black legislators and local politicians around her to, to beat Miss Tlaib. So like that's one thing. I'm scared that she's gonna defeat Rashida.
She might actually do it. Okay.
Yeah, she.
When is the election?
August 4th.
Oh, is this the fall?
Yeah, it's because it's Democratic primary, so it's August 4th. It's a Democratic primary. But this is what this chick wrote. She wrote this about. So a lot of activists have asked the city of Detroit. She's a city council president in Detroit. A lot of activists and protesters have asked them to have a resolution drafted to drop all charges against the protesters here in Detroit. Right? We didn't have any major rioting. We actually didn't have any major rioting here in Detroit. It was it was like really mostly peaceful protest. And of course, but the police, you saw that
cops beating that ass.
And yeah, even
girl,
the other day,
that video.
Yeah, I know one of the guys who was in that protest where the cops ran through those protesters in Detroit the other day. Fuck the cops. Fuck the DPD.
Yeah. So if in case y'all didn't see this video, the Detroit PD basically did what New York and LA, I think, also done, where they basically ran through people. They were at a stop and full stop, and they basically pushed forward, and then they slowed down again, and then really slammed on, like really put it into motion, and literally there was someone on top of the car as it was speeding away. It was wild. I can't, like, thankfully no one got hurt.
Wild. So,
someone probably got hurt,
but yeah, no one seriously hurt. No one was seriously hurt. So listen what old Detroit Blackfish said. Respectability.
Miss Brenda
Jones. She said, a statement on resolution to drop charges on protesters. A resolution is being proposed to dismiss all charges against protesters during the recent George Floyd, Breonna Taylor demonstrations in our city. Coming from a union background, I'm a strong supporter of peaceful protests, marches, and other forms of direct action as a means of objection to injustice. Over the past few days, my office received over 100 phone calls and 804 emails from citizens in support of the resolution. While I welcome all feedback, I'm concerned that the majority of the communications came from cities like Ann Arbor, White Lake, Auburn Hills, St. Clair Shores, and Traverse City. Most of those are suburbs of Detroit, by the way. Okay, I received emails from as far away as Salt Lake City, Utah. However, very few of the correspondence came from Detroiters. I did not attend... Now, this is the bullshit part. I did not attend the marches nor protests. I did not personally witness the crimes for which some marchers have been charged. And in accordance with our laws and with respect to the 3 branches of government, I must allow the criminal justice system to address these charges. It would be improper for me to interfere with the proceedings of the legal world. It would also be improper for me to favor one group of citizens over Detroiters who I'm sure would appreciate a council resolution to dismiss their crimes too. I will not support this mindset of... entitlement or special privilege given to one group over another group. In closing, I would like to thank the Detroit Police Department. Okay. Yeah, and I look forward to working blah, 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 blah. I look forward to working with Chief Craig, the community, and other stakeholders to build a strong relationship. Cool. Fuck her.
So she's one of the ones who's who's gonna get left. Like she's not. Yeah,
but she's running against, like activist Rashida Tlaib, who's like down for the count, who's like a down ass bitch, right? She's running against her. Bitch, they better not vote for Miss Brenda Jones. I'm giving money to Rashida Tlaib today, girl.
But this is part of that work, right? There is going to be those people are going to take this moment who are maybe black or of color, but aren't as progressive and are just a little bit of change, and they're going to try and take this moment. And basically, it's just going to be no different between slotting in a white person in some of these roles. Or they're not really going to try and change the system or try and do things to really help this movement. Like, that's what you got to watch out for.
And you remember that book, Their Eyes Are Watching God, girl, by Zora Neale Hurston? Did you ever read that?
Yeah.
That's how Brenda Jones sounds when she talks, girl. That's how. So I'm trying not to be in a classist elitist girl, but that girl talks like she's always got something in her mouth. So she I didn't feature her anyway, but then I really don't feature her now. Don't.
Oh man. Well, definitely that's something to watch. So I guess we'll circle back on that in August is not that far away.
Sure isn't.
It's another month or so. Isn't. But I think we can get into our good news and bad news.
The worst part, my mom is friends with her, girl. So that's another issue. But keep going.
Oh, well. Oh, okay. So, well, yeah, we'll pick this back up, I'm sure. So good news. So I wanted to, for good news, actually, I think a lot of our updates, we want to start with that. The Senate bill that we talked about last week was basically the Senate version of the Justice and Policing Act. I don't think it was called that. I can't remember what the name of it was, but their idea of police reform that was led by Miss Tim Scott, the Republican of South Carolina, didn't go through. The Democrats saw it for what it was. It was bullshit. They didn't get their 60 votes, so it lost in a tally of 55 against 45. So they just didn't, but they need to get the full 60.
And girl, I think it is Miss Tim Scott for real though, because I think that girl is one of us. I think she's a closet case girl, allegedly. Allegedly, girl.
Allegedly. We can't be getting sued this early in our run.
It's too early, bitch. Allegedly. We ain't got money like that yet, girl.
No. One day we could really come at the girls like Wendy and others. But, in terms of other more good news, and truly, some of these elections, we're seeing obviously with Rashida some concerns there, but this feels like, I think they were comparing, 2018 to being the year of like a lot of women getting seats, but this year being a lot of Black people. So we have Cameron Webb, who hasn't gotten a seat yet, but he just won the Democratic primary in Virginia. So a lot of stuff happening in the South. So he's going to be facing Republican in November. Again, those southern states and that redlining or redrawing a gerrymandering, too many words. That gerrymandering always leans, helps those Republicans out, but still, I've pushed the idea that like, people get out and vote, and how some people, as we saw in Kentucky, which we'll get to, really have trouble doing that, but still voting does matter, and it is one of the levers that we can pull. Not the only one, but definitely one of them. And speaking of that, we now have, first time in history, 2 Black gay congressmen out of Miss New York.
Too likely. We should say likely, because they won their they did win their won their Democratic primary in Democratic safe districts. So they likely will obviously win general election against Republican, but too likely.
Let me roll that back. I mean, because I think maybe it was like a given because they were very blue. I mean, like the first one is Miss Richie Torres. Oh, super fine. Openly gay, Afro Latinx. Sorry, I should say that. So, but I mostly identify as Black. And he was running against Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr., who is a proud homophobe. So I can't believe. So I don't even know what that was. So he was running as a Democrat. Or
this is a Democratic primary. Wow, that's like he was like a conservative Democrat. Read that
and I was like, oh, he's a. And he literally is like, oh, again, he's one of those religious girls. He's like, it's against my religion. But also just a mess. And Richie just has a great platform about wanting to revitalize the Bronx and, AOC type girl. We also, and he's doing the 15th district, as I said, South Bronx. And then we also have Miss Mondaire Jones doing the 17th district, Rockland and Westchester, who also ran on a kind of similar progressive platform, Medicare for All, raising the minimum wage to $15, the green climate change deal. So, amazing that potentially, I should say, cautiously, but pretty much clear that we potentially will have 2 Black gay congressmen.
And that's exciting.
As long as they don't step in anything.
I'm excited for those girls, both of them. Both of them are super fine, too. I think Mondaire is fine, too, girl. And I actually have a story. I do. I like chocolate. I like a chocolate man, girl.
So I don't?
I'm not saying you don't, but, girl, I really feature. I think Mondaire is sexy as heck. I do.
Okay. What's your
But I definitely have a story. So I was like, because what happened was Miss Mondaire, she came, I think, either in 2019, sometime like in the fall of 2019, she came to Detroit for a fundraiser. But I was looking a mess that day. Like, I didn't have a haircut or whatever. So I actually didn't even go. I wanted to go.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, Miss Mondaire is so fine. Like, because I find him attractive. And so anyway, but then I was like, I was talking to a few New York girls though. And a few of the New York girls were telling me, "Oh, girl, you don't want Miss Mondaire, girl." They were saying her dating life historically has been a little messy, girl.
Interesting.
Yeah, nothing illegal or anything, but just like a little like, girl, you don't have it in you to deal with that.
She's not for you.
She's not for me, girl. So. Okay. I mean, Miss Mondaire is fine though. And so hopefully she does us right and doesn't embarrass us in Congress. And, and that was, girls were telling me stories from a few years ago. So I'm like, okay, well, like, maybe she's changed since then, even because some of that stuff was old. But girl, that girl better not embarrass us in Congress, girl, because we had a black gay politician here in Detroit who embarrassed the hell out of us, girl, and that is some different type of tea.
I mean, Detroit. Look at what that was a whole thing. But Miss Andrew Gillum.
Oh yeah, he embarrassed us too.
A lot there.
That girl did too.
And that was.
But Miss Mondare, she won't. She's gonna do right. She knows what's at stake, girl, and she knows what the movement. She doesn't want a Republican to get in that seat. I know that girl's gonna act right in Congress. She's got to, and along with Miss Richie Torres, because
Miss Richie, which we haven't heard anything about her, but I mean, people that fine never do anything wrong. Right?
They're gonna do us proud though. I'm believing, girl. I know I heard some messy stories, but and all that stuff is alleged anyway, girl. I don't know if it's true for sure, but I'm just saying I'm glad I didn't go to that event because I wasn't looking right, and also because I can't deal with no girl I couldn't deal with that girl, but she is fine now.
So silly.
Okay. I do have some corrections to make though, because I made a lot of bullshit mistakes last week's show.
It's okay. God's not through with us.
I know,
girl. Get back up.
We are work in progress, girl. Sisters in Christ, right? We trying to get it right every day. So yeah, I kept saying, I kept mixing up Jamal Bowman, who also won his primary against Elliot Engel. An incumbent Democrat. Yeah. So really, we black people, we have the 15th, 16th, and 17th districts in New York. All of those now, won their Democratic primary. So Jamal Bowman, that's a hetero black man, but he won his 16th district primary. But I kept getting his name wrong with Charles Booker, who ran against Amy McGrath in Kentucky for the Democratic Senate primary to run against Mitch McConnell. I kept getting their names mixed up, but Charles Booker actually did lose that primary to Amy McGrath.
He did. It was close. And, Miss Amy, she had a lot of, support from Chuck Schumer, from the establishment.
Yeah. That girl raised a lot of money. She raised a lot of money too.
She raised a lot of money, but it still got close. So I think that kind of says something.
It does.
Again, anyone can get rid of Confederate McConnell, I'll take, but I'm gonna keep an eye on Miss Amy. There's something I
think that girl said she would vote.
Trust about her.
Well, she said she would vote for Brett Kavanaugh, girl. So I think
there it is.
So she's but you know what? That's still better than that's fucked up. But
I'll still take anyone over McConnell.
Exactly, girl. Because if we can get the right votes on other things, anything's better than McConnell.
She may be one to watch. But
I also fucked up on something else last week, girl. So
we just getting all the corrections out of the top.
Yeah, girl. I kept calling Susu a tribe, girl. That's not no goddamn tribe in Africa, girl. It's also not really. Susu is not really up here, girl. Girl.
Sorry, no.
Okay,
no.
Susu.
All right.
Girl. Girl. Susu is also not really a pyramid scheme. It comes from the Yoruba term. Yoruba is a tribe in West Africa, really in the current Nigeria region. From the term asusu, meaning cooperative savings. It originated in West Africa, like I said, but it's practiced now, even still, in many African and Caribbean cultures. And actually, a girl we know, a PhD girl, Fish. A PhD girl, she said, no, Susu is real. She commented on one of our posts. It's not a pyramid. It's like community banking where everyone puts in every week, same people though. And when it's your turn, you collect the total. Caribbean folks do it all the time. So those girls educated me because the Susu, is some real tea. But girl, it's still, girl, we had an offline conversation about the Susu. So we'll talk. We can talk about the Susu. Some more another time, girl.
Yeah. So, and I obviously have to take some blame for. So, Miss Deveraux did not come up with the title. I came up with the title. The pyramid scheme.
But we were talking about. I talked about other pyramid scheme tea that my family was trying to fuck with me on. So it was some pyramid scheme tea in the episode, girl. It wasn't, but the Susu. From as far as what I've been reading, isn't a pyramid scheme. It's still something I'm a little hazy on.
Yeah, but and we know some people who are thinking about it. I may think about it. But we're gonna move on.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, let's do it.
So we're gonna get into the bad news. So this first one that we have, I mean, this one kind of takes the cake. Just seeing, as I think most of our listeners would know, most people would know, Trump a couple of days ago retweeted a video taken from The Villages, which is a retirement community in Central Florida. So, as you were kind of telling me, girl, The Villages is mostly all white community.
Yeah, and very conservative and Republican primarily and traditionally, yes.
But like with most things, not all whites. There were a group of white people who were those types who were like, fuck war, fuck this, Black Lives Matter, and were doing their own protests. And there were another group of white people driving by in their golf carts who had their Trump signs, their Make America, I think Sane Again, a play on, Trump's Make America Great Again. Sorry, they had their Make America Great Again. And they were kind of getting into a little bit of an argument with each other. And I think one of the kind of protesters for BLM and, more progressive things was saying, like, where's your white hood, to someone driving by. And the white man responded, Trump 2020, America first, white power. So I thought it was hilarious because this is what I want to see. White people going after each other. Like, leave us alone. Go figure out y'all shit over there. But Trump then retweeted the video.
Of course.
And tweeted like 8. It was early in the morning. I think it was on Sunday. I don't remember.
I can't remember Sunday or Monday. I can't remember. But.
Yeah, but he retweeted it. It took it down 3 hours later when people were like, he says white power in this. It's not a great look. Of course, Miss Tim Scott had a little thing about like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. Some fake.
Yeah.
So what, a spokesperson for the president said is that he's a big fan of The Villages. I bet you he's been there. He loves it. It's great. But he did not hear the statement made in the video. But he still loves The Villages and is very supportive of his followers there. Do you believe it? Do you think he didn't hear it?
Girl, he just said the other day, like when he retweeted some other bullshit and the reporters were asking him, oh, do you really watch everything that you retweet? And he said, no, I see everything. So he's got to take ownership of that, of the white power.
I mean, either way, it doesn't excuse it. It doesn't excuse it either way. But because, she tweets fast, so I was like, she might not have seen all of it. She might just saw those Trump signs and like, oh, this seems chill.
That's possible.
But either way, a mess. Like, and in some ways, the fact of the matter is the way he resolved it was still to say like, this is still my community. These are still my people. These are still my supporters.
No apology.
They're just being enthusiastic.
Apology, right, girl?
And it's just owning that like he truly is a white supremacist president. Like, let's just own it. And this next, the other video, and literally like barely a day later, he's got a video of Miss Mark and Patricia McCloskey, who are holding a assault rifle and a gun as protesters walk by. This was in St. Louis, which Michael Brown. But
this is like a very rich part of, this is like a super rich area of St. Louis. It's the equivalent of like a Buckhead in Atlanta or like.
And they must have been scared. It's just so interesting to be like, what? Y'all think we about to go run into y'all houses? Like, some white people out here really afraid.
But the girls were just walking by. What gagged me is like, I'm a firearms girl. I'm a gun girl, right? And that white bitch, she had her hand on the trigger, and that you're taught that in any firearms class, like, do not put your hand on or near the trigger unless you're ready to shoot, girl. So that was like firearms 101. That she violated that shit. Yeah, because she wasn't ready. I mean, she didn't shoot. She wasn't ready to shoot, but she had her hand on the trigger, girl. So that was a big no-no to me. Like, I actually want to make a note too. Jonathan Karl, who's like the ABC News White House correspondent, he wrote a really good opinion piece in the Atlantic about how Trump basically doesn't apologize for things anymore, like after Charlottesville. And how basically, like, because he feels like apologizing emboldens his enemies, who will still criticize him anyway. So he just is gonna he's not gonna apologize for the white power tea. He's not. Just cool. FYI. Yep.
Sounds good. Know who we
know who we know who we're dealing with. Yep.
So this next one, actually, I was saying that we were just doing bad news, but this actually is a good news. Well, potentially good news. Good news. So Mississippi State Legislature on Sunday voted to remove the Confederate emblem from their flag. For those of you all who don't know or sometimes forget, Mississippi has a Confederate, flag in their flag. Lovely stuff. But they voted over the weekend to remove it and actually to just come up with a new design. The vote, I think, cleared the House with 91-23 and their House Senate for 37-14. So, of course, there were still some girls writing for the Confederacy, like you do. But I think that's a symbolic gesture, but I'll still take that because I have totally seen. There's been moments where I'm like, wow, there really is a Confederate flag in the Mississippi flag. That is some bullshit.
Isn't that some bullshit? What do those hillbilly girls always say? That's our heritage. That's our heritage, girl. Oh God, I hate those girls.
In other good news, I think potentially because this could change some, electoral tea, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to pass a bill approving D.C. statehood. And it's the first time a chamber of Congress has ever passed this legislation. So the bill was pretty much down the line. Actually, one Democrat, I think a Minnesota girl, voted against the measure. And, of course, no Republicans voted for it because it would not help them.
Right.
I thought this was just really interesting. It's not going to pass the Senate. But the girls, they're still doing some work. They're still trying. So Mayor Muriel Bowser, she just made this point about, the fact that like DC has a population of almost 700,000 people, and that's more than Wyoming and Vermont. And that those people still have to pay federal taxes, but they lack voting representation. And I thought that was just because I was like, oh, why does DC want to become a state? Like, I get why Puerto Rico or become a state or just leave us, but I wasn't sure about that DC tea. So
yeah,
it's like,
I feel like because a girl was saying, okay, 51 states is an odd number. We should just throw Puerto Rico in there and give them statehood too. And
if they want
it, yeah, and like that would make it an even 52 for the stars on the flag, girl. So it's more even on the flag, bitch. That's but yeah, that is some. You know what the DC license plates say, girl? They say taxation without representation. Like they are not their delegate in the House does not have voting rights, and they have no senators. So that's got to change.
And there was an interesting part just also about coronavirus. Like, they weren't getting as many money as the states that had it, but despite, as I said before, having quite a large number of people in them. So really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So it's not passing right now, but
it passed the House though for the first time.
I mean, it passed the House,
but that's a big deal because it never has passed, even in Democratic houses in the past. It never. And so that's why it is a big deal, girl.
Okay.
But yeah, I actually want to talk. This is some bad news, girl, because some coronavirus cases are on the rise in the Sun Belt states. Arizona, California, Florida, and Texas. And Dr. Fauci testified before the Senate yesterday saying that we could see right now we're seeing about 40,000 new cases of coronavirus a day nationwide. And that, with the current trajectory and exponential growth, we could end up seeing 100,000 cases a day of coronavirus, girl. That is a crazy number, right? So for that reason, Texas has closed bars and indoor dining after reopening prematurely on some bullshit. Arizona has closed bars, gyms, and clubs. California has closed bars in selected counties, including Los Angeles, where you live, girl. And both Miami-Dade and Broward counties in Florida have closed beaches in advance of the 4th of July weekend, girls. So we actually know some New York girls who fled down to South Florida trying to flee Corona and get some beach tea. And those girls, like, they're going to have to quarantine for 14 days when they go back to New York because New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut are actually making any girls from high-risk states like Florida quarantine for 14 days when they come back in because New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut essentially, not completely beat the coronavirus, but those girls definitely got their numbers way down from being the epicenter. Yeah. So that's some interesting tea right there, right?
Yeah.
And on some other news, girl, I mean, not only is the president a white supremacist, girl, but I think that motherfucker's a traitor, girl. Like, I think when the Biden administration comes through, girl, they better lock that bitch up and her whole family, like, or more. Like, and so the New York Times and the Washington Post both reported this, that Russian military forces, also known as the GRU, those are the girls who also tried to interfere in the 2016 election. We're posting all that bullshit on Facebook, etc., the GRU. But anyway, the GRU bribed the Taliban, the Afghan Taliban forces, with bounties on the head of U.S. and coalition troops, which includes British troops as well. And British intelligence also reported something similar. And so CNN and other sources report that Miss DJT was briefed on this as early as February 27th, girl.
February.
Yeah, now, February 27th is also the day that Miss Diamond and Silk visited the White House, so he might have been preoccupied with that type of tea, right? But
hanging out with the girls.
Yeah, but the White House denies that they were ever briefed on this at that time, and also a lot of former intelligence officials that they interview on like MSNBC and CNN say that it is unthinkable that the president would not have been briefed on information that's so vital, whether it was confirmed or not, and that the Trump administration is either lying or that its top intel chiefs are not doing their job, because the president should have been informed on this when it became known to intelligence officials immediately. So what makes this story so crazy is that Newsweek is now reporting that Donald Trump did know about this, that the Trump administration is lying when they said they never, briefed the president, that Donald Trump did know about this when he invited Russian President Vladimir Putin to the global G7 summit earlier in June. So when he knew,
which he not supposed to be coming
exactly, because Russia was kicked out. Russia was kicked out of the G7 when they invaded Crimea in 2014. So, it was the G8 and it became the G7 because Russia was of all the the most powerful and rich countries in the world. And so, he knew about the bounties on U.S. soldiers' heads. So he's supposed to be the military president supporting the troops. So this motherfucker is a traitor, girl. He's okay with our troops getting killed by the Russians, and he's still going to support Vladimir Putin.
So I'm gonna be that devil's advocate, girl. Okay, girl. I'm gonna be Miss Kaylee for a minute. I'm Miss Kaylee. So Miss Kaylee just had a press briefing today, and she said Trump has now been briefed on the matter. It was happening while I'm doing this press conference, but there has still not been a consensus in the intelligence community regarding the validity of the information. Unfortunately, the public domain, aka the fucking New York Times, is already putting this shit out there, and this stuff hasn't even been verified. Trump didn't know about it. What do you think, girl? Do you think he really didn't know about it?
That's a goddamn lie, bitch. That motherfucker knew about it, but he doesn't read. So if it was only in,
so that's if the thing, it was only right?
in the text, he may. But I think those motherfuckers told him verbally.
So he does both. He likes to do verbal,
right?
Because can get to the point. But I bet you, girl. But also, she's not all the way there, girl. There's times when I'm just like, is it malicious? Is it intentional? Or is it just? Either way, it's still malicious, but is it intentional, or she just didn't even pay attention to that shit and instead was eating some KFC or getting into a Twitter fight?
We should never give that girl the benefit of the doubt, ever. Because she proves... I think she could have heard the white power, for instance, in the video she retweeted. Like, I don't ever want to give that girl the benefit of the doubt. It's a possibility, but that girl...
It doesn't matter, ultimately.
Has proved who she is many times over. And what did Miss Maya Angelou say,
someone shows you who they are.
Exactly.
If someone shows you who they are,
you took the words out of my mouth. Bingo. But yeah. Well, what were you gonna say, girl?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, the news is going, girl. We're gonna try and keep up with it. But there's a lot going on, and the protests are still happening. And but I have a little bit to say about that at the end of our show. But I think we're gonna switch gears a bit and do our Enlighten Judy segment, and kind of. It's kind of a good day, I think, to do it when the European Union just announced a travel ban against us, Russia, Brazil, and India.
Because we're not controlling our coronavirus, girl.
Because those rates are so high, as Miss Deveraux just talked about. Now, they said they would update us every 2 weeks, but I don't think it's going to change for a while, y'all.
Girl.
So that trip to Paris that I know one of my girlfriends is looking to do, I'm like, bitch, you might need to push that to 2021.
No, I was supposed to go. Those two, one of those fish that I told you tried to get me in on the susu tea, like family fish.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go to Paris in September for her birthday, girl. So that just totally got canceled. Yeah. I had a trip to Paris planned in September, but that's gone now.
I mean, they're saying they're going to update it every 2, but
I'm still not going.
The current administration, that part too of girl, this really isn't the time. Especially even if you can go. I mean, right now, most of these places are giving you 14-day quarantine. So you're just going to be stuck in a hotel anyway. But we can still dream and we can reflect on the places we've been. So let's just take that moment to walk down memory lane. And Miss Deveraux, where are the places that you felt like you went most often? Or what were the places you just outside the country? Because this country. I mean, we have places in the States.
Exactly. I go to New York.
That real. But we love we love a good international flight. We like to whip out that passport. Be in that international section. That same American-made Chinese food.
Yeah. We global girls. We try to be. But the places I go, I've really, over my lifetime, the city I've gone, the place I've gone most often out of the country is probably to London. I started going to London when I was a teenager back in the 90s, girl, in the late 90s. on like a group trip, and I've been like multiple times in recent years. I just feel like at home there. Like I really feel like that is my second home. When I'm there, I literally feel this like, I don't know, this like this vibrant energy, but also like it doesn't feel like I'm anywhere where I don't belong. And I really love that about London because it's just so global, so international. Now that could change after, that could be changing after Brexit a little bit. I'm worried about that, but I love London. Like if I ever get some real coin one day, like I want to have an apartment in London. Like I love London that much.
Really?
Yeah, I'm generally a Francophile girl. Like I'm a French speaking girl.
I know.
I'm like Black French heritage, like Beyonce type of tea, and like Miss Tina knows. I got my dad is. Creole
I see it in the nose. I see it in the nose. Yeah.
My dad was like Creole, but girl. I love London. I love it. So, what about you, girl? What's the place you go most often?
It's also London for me as well. I have a job that takes me to London. Don't worry about it. But I think also oftentimes London ends up, because like you said, it's such a global city and it's so connected to so many parts of the world, especially like going that direction, kind of like their version of New York. Maybe that's not the right comparison. But
I do think those are the two most. I do think those are the two most global cities, though. Like New York and London really drive like popular culture, like finance. Yeah. A lot of things are out of New York and London. I really believe that.
Like it feels like a city you always stop through, even if you're going somewhere else. Like it's that kind of tea. Oh, excuse me. So for London, I think it's partly I would just end up going there, but I think, I don't know, there was just something about it that had like a little bit of mystique to me about going over there. And I'm not like a big Anglophile. I find some British men attractive, but I think
it's weird. I follow a lot of fine ass British men on Twitter. I mean on Twitter and Instagram.
I put it in the show notes.
Some of them do look inbred. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of inbred looking British people.
Do this, girl. I'm going to cut this out.
No, you ain't. Don't cut that shit out. Like a lot of them do look inbred. So I think they know it too. The royal family, even. Lord. I think Diana brought some tea in, but like.
All right, we're getting off subject.
But some of them look inbred. But I follow a lot of fine ones, including like black ones. Black, like mixed black ones.
Well, and we talked about, I would take a British Indian man.
Oh, yeah, so fine.
But and it is a very globalized city, so you would also get French and Spanish and people from other parts of Europe and Asia and parts of Africa. So I think also I just love that it's that mix of old and new, like modern and traditional. And I love that, like, I can go see Big Ben and these sites and the palace, and then also go to more modern place, or go to a club. I love you can just drink outside, bitch. I mean, I only drink beer when I'm in London.
Really?
Yeah. I have a little pint.
They have some cute cocktail bars though too. They do. I've gone to a few, but I've gone to a gay pub in London and had a beer. I love I love the gay pub culture.
So in Soho, or
it was like far east. It was like east of the city of
Hackney?
London. Yeah, I was meeting one of our college friend girls over there.
Oh,
she lives in New York now. She moved, but like back then she was living in London. Yeah, I met, and it was cute. It was like near Hackney probably, but I like the mix of old and new too. Like St. Paul's Cathedral, I think is one of the most beautiful structures in the world on the inside. Like you've got to go in if you ever go to London. You still haven't visited St. Paul's, have you, girl?
I haven't. I was gonna do it on this last trip that got canceled because of the pandemic.
But I also, one of my favorite museums in the world is the Tate Modern, which is just diagonal from that. And that's like the Tate Modern, and then the old St. Paul's, which is like from like 1600s or prior. Like I love that mix of old and new in London. That a city like Paris, which I also love, like is just all old though. Like there's not a lot of new in Paris.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't get bombed because Hitler loved her.
Right.
But I think London is one of my favorite places, but I think Paris, anytime I want to, like, I just think it's so beautiful. I think, like, I'm like, is that gold just on y'all bridge? I just got a gold bridge here. Do. Like, I think my issue with Paris is just, I can do a little bit of Spanish. I can get by, but my French, I just can't do it. And to me, I should just work on it and get it better. But I feel like if you don't have French, like, that city doesn't unlock for you. Like the best times I've been in Paris have been when I was with one of my girlfriends who's Parisian, or well, she's Parisian, but she's French and British. And like, it just don't like the restaurants you can go like because they don't have no English. Some of those restaurants, oh no, we don't got no English version, bitch. And they're not gonna tell you that in English.
Yeah, girl.
So,
well, you know, I was a French minor, girl. I'm a francophile girl.
Oh yeah, and you keep up your French.
I do. I
too,
try
so.
to. I'm a francophone girl. Like it's part of like my little, you know, it's. I mean, I want to say my heritage, but girl, but anyway.
I mean, I'm Creole. I think too,
to some degree
they enslaved us. Yeah, I'm
some
Creole too.
on some
so
slavery
like,
teas, but yeah, like I feel like they don't really feature you in a lot of spaces in Paris if you don't speak French. Like you can go to the tourist tea a little bit, but like if you really want to get some real tea or go to some real cute clubs, those girls they want you to speak French. They do.
But the thing I also like about Paris versus London is that it also feels like a blacker city. Like there's more of a black feeling there, and I love that. And you know that's where Baldwin went to like when he was over America. So she's got that lineage too of us escaping there. We might go there in the fall depending on how that goes. So. But what's your least favorite place, girl?
Well, it's funny because London is a place I most feel like home. I'm gonna say my favorite trip I've ever done was to Hong Kong, which we'll touch on like a little bit later. That was my favorite trip.
Oh, so is that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't do your favorite. So is Hong Kong your favorite?
I think place? Hong Kong. I would say it was my favorite trip because I did it super. I did it super luxury on somebody else's dime. Like I went with one of our good friends on a business trip. Both our mutual friends. I just tagged along this business trip, girl, and he was staying at the Four Seasons, girl, which had like the best brunch buffet in the world. Like it's literally ranked. If you look online, it's ranked one of the top brunch buffets in the world by like the travel magazines. And my Hong Kong trip was just so luxury. Like all the little new malls there that they had, like there was like 20 Louis Vuitton stores in the city. You know, I went onto the top of the Ritz-Carlton and went to afternoon tea type of tea. Like I love luxury travel. I think part of the reason too, that's like my thing. I love luxury travel. So that's my favorite trip, but I still think London is my favorite place. But yeah.
Okay.
What's your least favorite? What's your least favorite place, though, girl?
Oh, well, girl, what do you think my least favorite is?
Oh, I think your least favorite place might be Colombia, maybe.
Yeah. I can't stand that girl. So, I mean, I talked about it a couple episodes back, but she didn't have. People try to get money from me, so I don't know what it was. It wasn't what I thought it would be, and I guess I have high expectations because I just was like, I was looking to meet Maluma and like have a nice little situation and hang out with Shakira, and it was not that. To be fair, I did like it when we went to. This was mostly when we were in Medellin, and we went to Cartagena. I had a better time. It was blacker. It was more coastal. The weather was nice. The weather
was great.
But I also, one of our friends recently made this point. It's like, it also just wasn't Medellin. So maybe we just liked it better because it wasn't where we were. Like we were there for New Year's Eve and just wasn't. I thought it was going to be more exciting, more lively, and it wasn't that.
But I told you bitches, though, on that trip, bitches, let's go to Cartagena for New Year's Eve. And y'all were like, oh no, God. Let's go to let's stay in Medellin and go clubbing.
I don't think that was me. I think that was
maybe that was those other girls we went with.
That was another, because I was almost going to skip Medellin, because I was like, this sounds like where all the white gay girls go. Yeah. I think we should skip her entirely. And some other girls were like, oh no, I don't think we should skip her. Anyway, let me not be petty.
Yeah, Medellin. I mean, I could see there was some natural beauty in Medellin, though. It's a naturally beautiful city.
Oh, for sure. It's in a valley. Yeah. It's like it's got this really cool trolley system that you can take to see some really cool sites. It was cute.
We took a cute day trip from Medellin too, to the top of that climb that mountain that kicked my ass, bitch. That
it was a rock. Got a good workout.
Bitch, that's the understatement. That rock kicked my ass climbing the top of that.
But you made it.
I think though, girl, before I get to my least favorite place, I feel like I just noticed a pattern where places don't meet your expectations, like where you often get disappointed, whether it's like you told me you had some disappointment with South Africa, with Greece, I was with you, but on Colombia you didn't feature Colombia. Like I feel like I don't know where else didn't you feature? So Greece, South Africa, Colombia.
Those are the big ones. So I think with Greece, it was the fact that I think it's this thing of like I didn't start. You've been a traveling girl for a long time. You've been a global girl for a long time.
Although you've been to more
like high school,
middle school even. But you you've been more countries
I've
than me
maybe
now.
been to more places now, but I've literally done that in like the last 5 years,
Yeah.
like since I got this job. Because before that, she was a broke assistant girl, so she didn't really have the money to be traveling, especially when these loans were due. But I think I just, from like I was saying, like Greece, like I used to read Greek myths and stories. So
you were a classics major for a minute, girl.
I was a classics major.
Yeah.
South Africa, okay, that one was a little bit of a myth because I was like, bitch, I knew about South Africa, but I still had just seen Black Panther. I was like, Wakanda forever. And then, no, girl, not in South Africa.
Isn't Johannesburg a little bit of Wakanda tea?
Johannesburg was cute. It was that. For sure. So there's a bit there, but it's not the same.
I want to go to Afrotech in Johannesburg one year, though. I do. Or not Afrotech, Afro punk.
Oh, Afropunk. Yeah, the big Black Culture Festival, which is in London and Paris too.
In New York. It's in New York too, yeah.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah. But I think whenever I go to Japan, we'll talk about, where we most want to go post-corona. Like I'll probably maybe be a bit disappointed by that too, because some of these things I've just been wanting to go to these places for so long. I've always wanted to be a global girl. Speaking of you wanting a place overseas, I want a place overseas. I have to be a little smarter than that with all these, viruses coming out of China. But I think I just do have high expectations. But
you love Miss Thailand. You like her. She didn't.
I did like.
She
Thailand,
didn't disappoint you. She didn't disappoint you.
But in some ways, because I didn't have a reference for her, I had never, and also she's just so different from any references I would have, because she's not Europe, like they're non-Western centric to go to a place like that. And there's some places in Africa like that, some places in the Middle East like that. But like Thailand's one of those places because she never got colonized, so she just does her own thing. Huge temples in the middle of Bangkok, in the middle of this metropolitan city, is so cool. But what's what's your least favorite, girl? Can I guess?
Guess.
Which I think is so crazy. It's a European city, right?
Yeah.
Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, girl. I hate Amsterdam. I hate her.
Amsterdam, I thought it was fine. I got some waffles. I did a little biking on a path. There's like a little canal. She's cute.
It has some cute tea. They have a cute museum, the Rijks Museum.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's some cute, and
some good art museum.
I went to the best little like deli I've ever been to in my life in Amsterdam. So she has some cute tea. Like I will give you that. But she disappointed me in specific ways. Now, I do want to do this before I go into, because I want to give the girls a good story on Miss Amsterdam. I want us to say goodbye to the Instagram girls, the girls who listen to us on Instagram. Just, because we got that, we got to hit
under that 60 minutes.
We got to be under that 60 minutes. So we're going to bid farewell to the Instagram girls. We'll see you next time. But for the rest of you girls who actually listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that tea, I got some good tea for you girls.
Oh, now we can sit with it. I'm excited. I was like, how are we going to get through this in 3 minutes? But
girl, no, we not. We just got to say bye to Instagram girls. We going over it today, girl. So my Instagram tea. Okay, so we have. Okay, I can't say a mutual friend anymore. It was one of my former friends, one of your current Judies. But that girl. We went to Amsterdam. We were still in college. It was our senior year of college for spring break, girl. And we were deciding between going to Rio. We found $600 tickets to either go at spring break. We found them to either go to Rio or to go to Amsterdam. And the reason we chose Amsterdam, he talked me into Amsterdam because I've always wanted to go to Rio. I still have not been. He talked me into Amsterdam because he was like, "Oh, girl, well, we don't really have a lot of money. We're still in college, and we'll probably have to stay in some raggedy hostel in Rio, and it might be dangerous, and we may not have enough money to do everything in Rio. So let's just go to Amsterdam, and we can stay in a hostel, and it'll be safer there." So, girl, first off, staying in that hostel, that was a huge mistake for me.
Because to be fair, hostel, like you're not a hostel. I feel like
I'm not a hostel girl.
College, you were still a little
bit. I'm
still
not a hostel girl.
Like still a classy. Where's the hotel? Yeah. So hostels are nicer outside. This, people don't. Most Americans don't know hostels aren't like just like your travel lodges. They're really nice in a lot of parts of Europe because it's really common for European kids out of university or before to like take time off and travel because everything's so close. So they'll stay in hostels, and they're really nice, cheap hotels, like staying with a bunch of people. But so y'all stayed in a hostel that trip?
We stayed in a hostel, and it wasn't like really. It was a bunch of bunk beds. It wasn't like there was.
That's what a hostel is.
But okay, but I know that. But it was like it was only really like like different nights. There was like 2 other people with us in the room one night, one and then one. So it wasn't like, but even though there were like 6 beds, there were never more than 4 of us in a room. Okay, that's one thing. But one of those nights, there was like this drunken, overage British man who was like probably in his 40s even, who was like super drunk, and he just made me like, I didn't even want to leave a bottle of water open and like come back to it. Like when he was like staying in the room, like if I opened a bottle of water and drank from it, that water was done. Cause like I didn't trust that girl. I thought that girl was going to put something in our drinks. But that's number one, because it was Amsterdam tea first off. But the crazy parts of the story are this. So that girl who I'm not friends with anymore, but she's a drug girl. She's a drug girl. Like, let's just keep it real. She's a drug girl. So she, like, okay, so first off, she got me to do. I was not a drug girl. Like, I had only ever smoked weed once at that point, and it made me fall asleep right away. So I would never even technically was high. That girl convinced me to do mushrooms because those shits were legal over there. That was I'm actually glad I did it once but bitch, that was the scariest moment of my life. Like hallucinating, seeing those colors. So so we bought the mushrooms from the shop. We went to a museum bathroom and took them in the bathroom, girl. And the girl, I was like, oh, so should I just take a couple? He was like, oh no, you got to eat the whole package. Bitch. But guess what? So he got I got the weakest one. He got the strongest one. Don't you know that bitch threw up all his mushrooms? So he didn't even get high because he threw them bitches up. And I didn't. So I was high as a fucking kite. And we were walking through the museum, girls, and the painting started talking to me, girl. They started swirling and talking to me, girl. I got scared.
That's why I can't be a mushroom girl. I would just run off a roof or something. I'm not doing that.
Girl, when we walked through the city, like after leaving the museum, all the Dutch people, when they were talking in their language, they all sounded like aliens to me. I was like, oh my God, these are aliens. What the fuck are they saying? Like, bitch, what are these girls saying? Like, I was scared as fuck. And then we had to just go back to the hotel room for me to come down because I'm not a drug girl. While he was sober as fuck because he threw up all his goddamn mushrooms because he got the highest batch and tried to eat them all. Dumb bitches. So that was one part. But then he was like, okay, I didn't get high from the mushrooms. I'm going to just get high throughout the entire trip. So he just started like buying weed brownies. He started buying ecstasy. He started buying like just every little thing, girl. And like to the point where his coat, because it was early March, the weather was trash the whole time we were there because it was early March, spring break, rainy and cold like almost every day. Weather was trash in Amsterdam. And I connected through Amsterdam another time and the weather was trash. I got stuck there in the airport because of snow. So bitch, I hate Amsterdam and I hate it. I hate the weather. But it's a nice airport.
London weather's kind of rough too. But what do you think?
Amsterdam is
weather different from London?
Because maybe I've gotten lucky. Maybe because I usually go to London in like May and June, and then some.
Are you serious right now? May and June is like the best time to go to London because it's their summer.
But I went in October last year, and the weather, it was a little rainy, but it still wasn't as bad as you would think. Amsterdam's weather has always been trash for me 2 times. I've gone. So, but anyway. He was high the whole time to the point where his coat was starting to smell like marijuana because he kept the weed brownie in his coat pocket all the time and the weed in general. So like so that freaked me out because I was like, okay, what about when we go to the airport? What about when we land or whatever? But whatever. Anyway, girl, that girl took ecstasy. She took a pill on the morning. We went to the Anne Frank house, girl. This sacred place, right? This girl and her whole family like perished in the Holocaust, except for her dad who lived. Girl, don't you know this bitch was high as a kite and fell down the goddamn stairs in the Anne Frank house, bitch. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life thus far. This girl fell backwards.
It doesn't feel appropriate to laugh.
But luckily, I think only one other person who was a tourist saw it. So, but it was like, it felt like a desecration of this sacred place, girl. This girl was taking so many drugs throughout the whole time. I'm not a drug girl, so I wasn't enjoying myself. And then on the day when we have to wake up early and catch a flight back to New York, because we flew through New York, girl, he was like, he wouldn't get up. And I was like packing up my stuff. I was like, bitch, get up. Like, we gotta go, girl. I almost had to leave him and go get on the flight without him. But he finally got up. And I waited for him like a dumb bitch, right? And so we take the trolley. We didn't have even money to take like a taxi or anything. We took a trolley, girl, back to the airport, to the train station, and the train station to the airport.
Y'all were taking Oh wow. Well, because like they're po-chop shit, but like that's cutting it. Like to take a trolley or train, like if you're cutting it close, like.
But we just like girl. He didn't have any money. I had money, so I had more money. He had no money. He couldn't even afford to eat in the last days of the trip. I was paying for everything. It was crazy.
Y'all should have sucked some.
It's
dick
crazy.
To get some
So
money.
anyway, girl. Oh, he also got a ticket for pissing on the street, girl. Like a female cop came up behind. Girl, that's neither here nor there. I don't even know if he ever paid that ticket. But anyway,
my God,
girl, So, girl, we got to the airport 45 minutes before our flight. I was hyperventilating. I thought we were going to miss our flight. And girl. But in Amsterdam, we got so lucky because the security is at each gate in Amsterdam. So it's not one long security line for everybody. Like,
got it.
We were able to like go straight to print our boarding pass and go straight to our gate, and then security was at the gate. We got so blessed, honey.
Because for those of y'all who don't know, on an international flight, you're supposed to arrive there by
at least
an
2
hour.
hours.
They start closing the door like 45 minutes an hour, depending, because there's so much stuff they have to go through, and there's so bigger flights. They don't want to have to be delayed.
So luckily they didn't do that for this one. Because every other European flight I've been on and Asian, like, it's been that tea, but luckily we just somehow made it, even getting to the airport 45 minutes before. We made it to our gate. And they were she was telling me, she saw I was hyperventilating, like the ticket agent. She was like, calm down, girl, calm down. So anyway.
Don't make me have to call the ambulance.
Yeah, because she was like, calm down, you'll be okay, because the security was at the gate. So we went through security, we got on the flight, girl, from Amsterdam back to New York. And then we land.
The story ain't done yet. You still got.
Okay.
What happened?
We landed. I can't remember whether we landed at Newark or JFK. I think we landed at Newark. And girl, we get there, and because we're coming from Amsterdam, they put the dogs on like flights from like Jamaica, Amsterdam, any place that's like a druggy place.
God.
Bitch, don't you know his coat still smelled like weed because he kept marijuana in the pocket of his coat the whole fucking time. Bitch, I thought we were getting ready to get locked up. They had the dog sniff everyone, like getting our luggage, girl. They did not get him somehow. The dog missed him, girl.
So, Miss Deveraux, I gotta tell you, a lot of this stuff that happened doesn't have nothing to do with Amsterdam.
Fuck her. Fuck Amsterdam, bitch. Fuck that city. Because she got me fucked up.
It sounds like there's a lot of trauma here from that person, but not necessarily the city itself.
But she screwed me over because I was flying back from Turkey one time. I went to Turkey and connected in Amsterdam, coming back to Detroit. And that bitch, like, had me... I thought I was going to have to stay overnight in Amsterdam again because of that snowstorm, bitch. Fuck Amsterdam. Fuck her.
Okay. Ooh, got it. Leave her alone. You're not going to see her anymore.
Never.
So where, post-corona, 2021, maybe 2022, where are the places you think you most want to go?
So post-corona, I've always really wanted to go to Japan. Like, that, to me, is number one. Always.
Oh, yeah, we have talked about Tokyo.
Yeah. And Kyoto. I want to go to Kyoto, too, girl.
Yeah, for sure.
And my brother is a Japanophile type of girl. He goes there all the time. He speaks Japanese and stuff. And he wanted to go on a trip in April of this year, girl. Like, he was trying to plan a trip for us back in the back in the fall, and just I'm glad we didn't spend our money on that bullshit because we would have been fucked up. So yeah, girl. But I really want to go to Japan. What about you, girl?
I think Japan's up there for me. I mean, I just want to go back to Asia because not just I did have a good time in Thailand, but I like to go to Taiwan because Miss Hong Kong, she might be up out of here.
She might be done, girl. Yeah, and I loved her. I've always wanted to take girls back to see her. I love Miss Hong Kong, but I know she'll never be the same. I went in like 2012, girl. That bitch is not the same.
Yeah. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. But I think it would be between like Japan, Taiwan, maybe Korea.
That could be.
Although they're mixed on black people because they don't see as many. But anyway, but yeah, I'm just. Whenever that'll be, I mean, we just got that band today, so one day we'll be traveling.
One day, bitch. 2025 and shit. Bitch.
Oh, stop it! I mean, we were joking about, we were thinking about going to Brazil for New Year's Eve, but
we were. That was our plan.
Yeah. After my Colombia trip, I was already on the fence about, but yeah, that's
on some.
Anyway.
We ain't going to Brazil, bitch, for a lot of reasons.
We're not.
Yeah.
So, couple quick things. So, listener mail and comments, as always, we told you at the top of the show, you can send them to AskThem, ASKTHEM, at twosavequeens.com. You can also leave us a message at 323-438-2827. I just want to read a couple comments that we've had. Thank you so much for leaving them. We do see them, and I'm sorry for taking so long to read them. So I have one from Denny, who says the show is incredible. It's definitely a highlight of my week. I think I know who Denny is, so thank you, girl. White fan. I was a white listener. Love it. We have one from CG_G. I don't know who that is. A great listen. Short episode. I think, we're talking about Miss Deveraux, which will make a return at some point.
Yeah, girl. For my mental health, I had to take a break from the news, girl. I had to take me a break. That's all it was. I'll come back to her.
Self-care. Short episodes are informative and the perfect pick-me-up. Longer episodes are funny and engaging. Well, you're getting a long one this week, girl.
I think that's a Twitter girl that we follow. I think that girl might have her own podcast, too. I think I need to look her up. Yeah. Nice. That screen name looks familiar, girl.
And then from Cassell_Anna, hilarious, great listen, especially during the Rona, which continues. So we can't be with y'all on these commutes, but at least we'll be with y'all while y'all stuck inside.
Yeah. Well, the girls are not really quarantining anymore, but I mean, for now, bitch, they'll be back in quarantine soon, girl. Yeah.
So now it's time for thoughts and prayers. I have a couple quick ones. Do you want to go first? You want me to?
I want you to go first, girl.
So mine is I think we've been seeing a lot of we talked about the Mississippi flag, which is a symbolic gesture, still a meaningful one. Aunt Jemima changing her Uncle Tom on the grits, renaming Splash Mountain, which I think is a whole okay.
Oh, Uncle Ben, girl.
Uncle Ben. Sorry, Uncle Ben.
On the rice.
Yeah, Uncle Ben. Yeah. I don't get that rice. That's not what we got in my family. But Splash Mountain, the Disney park getting renamed to like the Princess and the Frog movie because of Song of the South, which is a racist Disney cartoon. A lot of cartoons back in the day were pretty racist. Great way to teach your children how to be racist. But for me, I'm like, I'll take these symbolic gestures.
Yeah,
but
small victories. I mean, some girls have been, even though these are small victories, some girls have been fighting for this stuff for a long time.
Yeah, but I also, let's not. We still need that, the material change. We still need those sustainable changes. Like, okay, you're going to rename it after this movie where the first Black Disney princess is a frog for most of the movie. But let's greenlight that next Black Disney movie. Like, let's make sure those executives who work at, PepsiCo or different places who have the Aunt Jemima product, that they get to become CEO. Let's look at these boardrooms who still continue to be white. Let's have people step down like Serena's husband. That's the kind of change that's material, and we need that as well. So just a quick point on that. And then just prayers out to Miss Hong Kong, which, today, I don't remember if we talked about it on the show, but, they had a law that I think we did say something about it. But
yeah, a new security law that was issued by
security
Beijing.
Law, which they pretty much see as a way of, Beijing and, mainland China putting influence, because the law is written in a way that is vague enough and flexible and open enough that basically any sort of dissent, protest, the things that are really the only way we're getting any change in this country can be led to them getting their asses shipped right back to mainland and getting thrown in Chinese jails where that shit is no joke. You disappear. They're not humane and about a lot of things, But I think this feels like a real turning point. Like literally as that law passed, like people started shutting down their Twitter. People started resigning from activist groups. Like, those girls definitely need our support. I don't know what the way forward is for her, because I think Miss China is just doing her own thing. And right now, we're just so consumed with our own fucking problems and making sure we get ourselves right for the fall. But I at least wanted to talk about that, because that definitely feels like a moment in time. And, eyes are going to be on Miss Taiwan. I think she's in a little bit of a better place internationally, but you never know. Miss China, Miss Russia, they're doing whatever they want at this point.
They are, especially with Miss DJT as president. They know they can get away with it,
Yeah.
But I actually want to pray for some Chinese girls too. Like, for the Muslim girls in China, for the Muslim people in China, the Uyghurs, who live in the western provinces in China, who, you know, over 1 million of them, from news reports, have been thrown in a version of a concentration camp.
Like those re-education kind of camps.
Exactly, re-education camps. Some of them have disappeared indefinitely from their families. The families don't know if they're even deceased or not. And this is basically a modern day, like, form of like a Holocaust for you know, a smaller version of it, but in China for Muslims. So I feel like that is something, you know, I want to send some thoughts and prayers to that, and I want you girls to look that up, because that is, you know, that's an ongoing story that we need to be following. And without a strong American leadership, like, that story is getting buried, you know, beneath other crazy headlines because we got this president. So we need to vote in a new president, because maybe Miss Joe Biden, she might, you know, raise that as an issue with China. But I want to also pray for some Muslim girls in Detroit too, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because like, we have a large, you know, Arab Muslim population here, and Black Muslim population here in Detroit, girl. And you know, I have some close ties to the Muslim community here, girl. But you know, I was at Target the other day, girl. I tried to go to Target the other day, and I went to a community that has a lot of, you know, Arab Americans and Muslims, and girls, like, a lot of people wearing their hijab, girl, but they didn't have on no face mask, girl. So you covering your hair, but you're not covering your face, girl. So I want the Muslim community, because they've actually been hit. They actually, along with the Black community, they've actually been hit. The Muslim, the Arab community, and the Arab Christians too, the Chaldeans, have been hit hard by coronavirus. I want those girls to also, you know, be following the guidelines, and because they're people of color too, and they have really been hit hard in our area by coronavirus, owning stores throughout the community and whatnot. And I want.
So, girl, the cloth isn't enough. I mean, we have a cloth that's not enough,
girl. But those girls had they didn't have nothing on their face, girl. I mean, they just had it on their hair. They just had it on their hair. So
I thought it was like a fully cut, like a hijab. Oh, okay.
Well, that's called that's called, when they have it over their face, that's either called a burqa or a niqab.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But the hijab is just over the hair. So I need the girls, you know, and the men had nothing, you know, and the men and so
they're really not doing it.
They're not doing it, girl. So I'm like, okay, I mean, that's great. You could all cover in your hair, cover the face too, girl. Like, you know, put on a mask. Put on a mask, girl. So I want to keep the Muslim girls in our, you know, we too saved queens, but I want to keep the Muslim girls in our prayers too, all across the world, from China to Detroit.
I mean, we're not just, you know, we're for all girls. We're not just Christian girls.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
So I think that's our show. Went a little long today, but hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you as always for spending time with us. Please make sure to follow us on social media, on Instagram at Tuesday Queens, on Twitter at Tuesday Queens. We're also now going to be on TikTok. We're going to go hang out with Generation Z and see what they're doing over there. I don't know. So you can find us also on there at Tuesday Queens if y'all are cool enough to have that. Also, don't forget to rate us, write comments. We'll read them on the show, send us emails. We love all of that stuff. And with that, we'll see you next week. But Miss Deveraux, do you have a final word for the children?
Marsha P. Johnson. She was on the homepage on Google today on Tuesday. You girls are going to be listening on Wednesday or later, but she was on the Google homepage on Tuesday. So happy Pride, and look her up if you don't know who she is. Marsha P. Johnson, girls. Marsha P. Johnson, okay? Yes. Look her up.
All right. Sylvia Rivera is a good one, too. All right. Thank you.
Bye, girls.